It's time for Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt. Todd Marquardt, attorney at law in Texas. If you're a millionaire or a thousandaire, Talk Law Radio is now on the air. Call in with your business law question, your elder law question, veteran aid, Medicaid, build a business to get paid. 210-308-8867. Or ask a question online at marquardtlawfirm.com. That's MARQUARDT lawfirm.com. And now it's Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, on the radio, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, on podcasts everywhere, and on talklawradio.com. Today we're going to be talking about certain laws with regard to depositions, record retrieval, and what else?
Process serving, record retrieval, depositions. Yeah.
Okay, this is Marty Dusek. Is that how you say your last name?
Yeah, that was well done. Marty Dusek. Some people don't pronounce it very, it's tough.
Well, I always have sort of I draw out somebody's name. So Dusek instead of Dusek.
Yeah,
right?
Dusek, yeah.
Okay, got it. And also with us is Shannon San Antonio Salmon-Haas. And Lexi Law Dog is off camera, but she's here today. And the reason that I love to talk about the law on the radio is because in the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. And now we have municipal, state, and federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws that impact you without you knowing it. So I want to inform you about those laws. Our mission is to help you discover your legal issue blind spots by listening to me talk about the law on the radio. And of course, the show's sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm, where we focus on business and estate law, including last wills, living trusts, and tax-protected inheritance plans. Also, new businesses and old businesses which might have issues with corporations, contracts, LLCs, family limited partnerships, and we can represent those who are facing problems from lack of planning, like in county court, probate court, or district court. So now we're going to be talking about the law, but before we start that, let's begin with a prayer. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for all the gifts and blessings that you give to us. Please forgive us for our sins, for our mistakes, or failing to follow your will. Please help us to follow your will more closely. Help us to give good information today about the laws regarding depositions, records retrieval, and other pretrial and litigation support with Marty Dusek. Help us to do everything we do for the good of your people, for our own good and for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 So we're not giving you legal advice today. Because you have to have an attorney-client relationship for that. We're just giving you good information about the law. So don't rely on anything I say today, but ask your attorney about it. So I want to introduce Marty Dusek today. He's a Chief Operating Officer of U.S. Deposition and Litigation Services. We'll be discussing how records retrieval, process serving, and depositions are essential to ensuring cases move forward efficiently so that individuals and attorneys achieve resolution as quickly as possible. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. Hi,
Great.
Shannon. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah. Shannon, I want to ask you, too, how have you been healing the community this week?
Well, my little things I've been trying to do, I'm working with some local nonprofits, and, I always talk about Through Project, Blue House. I have a friend that's...
And Boysville.
So there's a lot of things I love about San Antonio, and this is not a complaint, but we do have really, really hot weather in the summer, right? Mm-hmm. So in the spring, there's a flurry of, everyone's doing their gala and their luncheon and their auction. We all do it at the same time before it, the hot weather hits. So that season is gearing up, and the agencies that I'm really excited, there's a ton of nonprofits in town, but the ones that, you have to pick who you're going to focus on. And I'm really trying to help those agencies with their events that they have coming up.
Okay. And if you're interested in following Shannon on Instagram, just look for Shannon Roberta San Antonio or Shannon Roberta SA. She has hashtag pro positivity, or if the world has you down, she wants to hashtag encourage you, or hashtag cheer you up, or hashtag love you, and give you hashtag good vibes.
For free.
Yeah, there you go. So, Marty, tell us about your background. Where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I grew up in a small town in South Texas, Tilden, Texas. Lived there and, up until probably 10, 11 years old, moved to San Antonio and went to Alma Heights, spent my time here and found Ole Miss for my college education, finance degree there, and graduated in 2010. Job market was kind of weird then.
Yeah, following the 2008 market crash and everything.
Like weird trying to find a placement, so I just got into auditing. And, spent some time doing that for a couple of years, and, it was fun. But, wasn't traveling 100% of the time, to a different state every week. That's got a shelf life of a couple of years.
Tell us about your aviation experience. We've right next to the airport here. We can see out the window. I don't know if the listeners or the viewers on Facebook Live or YouTube can see it, but it's a really great view. So tell us about your aviation experience.
Yeah, I very fortunate experience. Started off doing corporate aviation, Uvalde, and here at San Antonio at the airport with Skyway Group, and accounting, managing, kind of expanded roles, and then moved on to a commercial aviation company, Jetran, and right hand of the CEO, and finance, sales, managing the operations. It was a whole mess of daily activities.
What did that company do? What is commercial aviation?
Well, they would probably the largest passenger to freight company in the world. So they take a commercial aircraft, strip them, cargo, convert them, and they go to cargo carriers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So not like Southwest or United then?
No. Be on the transport category side.
Okay. Commercial is more transporting packages. You ever see that movie with Tom Hanks when he's going to the island? Forget the name of it.
Castaway,
that's right.
It's got to be terrifying.
Right. Well, we'll move on from there then. How did you get started in the lawyer business or the lawyer support business?
Yeah, I didn't know, I didn't know I wanted to go start a business. I didn't know what to do. Grasping for straws, trying to think of ideas. Just for a long time, just kind of tried to figure it out. And one day, heard some paralegals discussing record retrieval, started to understand there's a whole legal support world that I've never heard of. And I, research. And then, right before COVID, we started this, legal support world and started doing record retrieval. And COVID hits, which was, obviously really difficult for everybody, every industry, especially for a startup. We were fortunate to get a couple of the law firms before the shutdown kind of happened. Mm-hmm. So we were able to sharpen our skills and really learn how to do records, get them out fast, get them in, upload them. So we were able to sharpen our skills, and through that, law firms and paralegals, these attorneys started trusting us, and we gained their trust, and then they started asking, well, can you get court reporters? Can you find videographers? Can you help us with our depositions? We've got process serving needs. We would rather just use you. And so I started building on that. Mm-hmm. Kind of what you were saying earlier, Shannon, right? Just kind of, whatever you need, we'll take. We'll do it, and we've trying to master as much as we can along the way. Okay.
So you started this business with other people. How did you identify other people that you wanted to help you along the way?
Challenging. I was able to meet manager right now that she's working with us. I was able to meet her and brought her on board to kind of help start the record side. And then, you start networking, you start looking around, and we've been able to fill in good times, and find staff to support for logistics, scheduling. So it was, it's taken a while, but we've got a good team in place.
Great. I'm so excited to continue this conversation after the break.
Me too.
If you're totally confused about what depositions, records retrieval, and the like are, stay tuned, and we'll start off with some definitions.
Yeah. This is a good show.
I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Do New Year's resolutions scare you, upset you, make your eyes roll? We've all known someone who's tried and failed to keep their resolutions. But what if your resolution could bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones? Resolve to get your affairs in order. Last will, living trust, tax-protected inheritance plan, a gift to your loved ones, and a lasting legacy. Call Marquardt Law Firm today at 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Or visit marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, on the radio, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, on podcasts everywhere, and on talklawradio.com. I'm always talking about the law, so if there's something you're confused about or some law that's frustrating for your business, go to talklawradio.com and click the button about ideas for the show, or if you want to be on the show to talk about it yourself, send me an email at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. Talking with Marty Dusek today with U.S. Depositions and Litigation Services. Marty, if there's lawyers out there that need help, how should they contact you?
Oh, it's a great question. Cell phone. No, U.S.
How about email?
Yeah, but I mean, I really do believe I give my cell phone to everyone. I want your team to contact me. I want to be your main point of contact. I want you to feel like I'm there whenever you need me.
Well, if
Friday
you give
night,
out your cell phone number, somebody might order pizza and have it delivered to your office.
No, but generally the cell phone for sure. But usdepot.com. You can click and email us and message from there. You can email me at marty@usdepot.com. There's multiple ways to reach us without a doubt.
Okay, great. So we were talking about your background and everything.
Todd, can I ask you a question first? Why are you wearing a cowboy hat?
It's rodeo.
And cowboy boots.
Rodeo season. I have a straw cowboy hat, but I was polling my inner circle about, what are the rules for cowboy hats? Because I'm really just a small town city boy from New Mexico.
I forgot for a minute because that hat, you're really pulling it off.
Yeah, I'm all hat, no cattle. But on the way here, I was trying to think of a friend that does have a cow. I'm going to ask him, hey, can I buy just one of your cows so that I can get rid of that reputation of all hat, no cattle? Because if I have a cow, then I'm justified in wearing
I'm sure
a hat.
Chris has fully approved this plan.
Well, I'm not going to bring it to the house. I'm just going to put my brand on it and say that it's mine.
I can't wait to see what Mark titles that thumbnail for that short.
Yeah, that would be
Todd
cool.
buys a cow.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for humoring me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
anyway, we got to define some terms here for those of you who don't know what depositions and records and what's the third thing that I
Process server?
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
People really don't know what that is. They think if I'm sued or if I want to file a lawsuit against somebody, all I have to do is go downtown and tell the judge my side of the story.
I think it's very fitting that you keep forgetting it because it is very, under wraps. It's not the razzle-dazzle of a legal case, but it's crucial. It's very...
Go ahead, Marty. Tell us what
No,
these
without a doubt.
things
Well,
are.
and they, they need to appear. They need to be so they become served. You've got tons of records that are flowing through these law firms that they need to analyze and review, summarize, so they can prepare for trial. And then you go to depositions that they're going to prepare for as well. They need court reporters. They need videographers. And we have really worked hard at making this a full package operation. We really want you from file to trial. Like, we want to be there for you the whole time. And I was joking about the audience giving a cell phone, but seriously, if there's not a single customer that we don't have that their whole team doesn't have my cell phone, and they have the green light to call me at any time they want, and I really mean that. And that's kind of what probably separates us away from everybody, is that our customer service is impeccable. It's a culture that we've instilled and built and cultivated, and it's going to go with us for as long as we're around. No matter what scalability or size we have, everyone is going to have that hands-on experience. You're going to have a person to call. You're going to feel like we care about your case just as much as you do.
Yeah.
More like the way we used to do things here, where you had a personal relationship with the people you were working with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a kind of been a lost art lately.
Definitely. Yeah.
And so I want people, I don't want you to call and you're going to get a receptionist and you're going to get on hold and you're going to dial an extension. No, that's not what we're about. We want you to get an immediate answer. One ring, we're there for you. We'll take care of it. Have a good day. And
litigation is already so stressful.
It is.
The participants, the attorneys involved,
right.
One less thing to worry about.
Yeah, we really
to work with a good person.
Absolutely. We're going to try to make that as stress-free and, expedite the process as best as we can.
What a beautiful mission you have. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's terrific. So one thing that goes on with recording depositions and are transcripts. You have to make a transcript of the whole conversation, right?
Yes.
And so do you think that artificial intelligence will ever be able to do that?
Certainly. It's happening now. I would always encourage a court reporter to be at every deposition. I think I always would recommend a court reporter, but there are definitely programs right now, and I would consider them more tools than primary, tactics or strategies or services. A tool to kind of help, right? And you could play it right here, and it could real time record our transcript. Mm-hmm. It can summarize it. It'll pick up Shannon's voice. It'll, identify this is Todd speaking. It'll say it's Marty. It's fascinating what it can do. I mean, it's going to, like I said, it'll be a fun tool for the industry.
But there are some legal regulations about transcribing and court reporting. You have to have a certification and things, right?
Well, yeah. So there's an element of non-stenographic transcripts that you can approach. And that would fall under that. But again, it's not certified by court reporter. So it still would be admissible in court. But again, I would always suggest court reporter.
But then you have an opportunity to dispute, the opposing party's transcript.
100%. Yeah, it leaves that opening and possibility. And I'm not sure when that'll surface or get to a point where that's gotten credibility. Again, that's probably far away.
Well, let me tell you a story. I had this case.
You missed the other day. He told us a joke.
Yeah, well, this is just a short story. I was representing somebody who had taken an audio recording with his cell phone at over a conversation at a restaurant. And so the opposing party, they wanted a transcript of this recording, because if we were going to use it in trial, they wanted to know what it was all about. And so we had somebody produce that transcript of the audio recording, and for some reason they disputed it. And so I don't really remember what that was all about, but the reason I bring it up is because you have to have a reliable process. You have to have a certified court reporter, so that people can't poke holes in the evidence that you're trying to present.
Yeah, without a doubt, absolutely. It opens that door to getting slammed for sure.
Yeah.
I confess I wasn't really aware of how many certifications court reporters had to complete, and also the process servers. In preparation for the show, I reviewed, the agencies that certify them, and it's very similar to what attorneys have to go through. It's highly regulated. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that. I've always just, gotten things served. I didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes, how extensive it was.
Right. And one of the other things that you do is service of process, service of citation. That's where somebody delivers a copy of the paper lawsuit to the people that are being sued, and then they swear under oath that they actually delivered it to that person. Well, why do you have to be so careful with that? What are some of the problems that could come up that you're in charge of making sure it doesn't happen?
Yeah, they need to be properly served, no question. And you need to document that, the times you've attempted, right? Because there's going to be multiple times that they're there or it doesn't work, or they may be trying to avoid you. So it's certainly a challenge, but it needs to be done correctly. And we had to go get our certifications, our license to be able to do it. And it's a challenging course. And again, the object is to have these, make them aware of what's going on and make sure they appear on their date.
Well, that's where some stress and frustration comes in, is when somebody is evading service. And so I've had to call the company that we've used and say, hey, when are you going to get this guy served? And then they maybe ask, well, can you get me some telephone numbers? Can you get me some points of contact so I can try and find them? You ever run into that?
Yeah, well, what we also provide is kind of part of the pre-trial stuff, skip tracing. And so we can kind of run background, we can figure out information, we can find addresses, emails, cell phones. We will run, all the traps we can to, get the job done. And our team's amazing. They make sure that, they jump through every hurdle and hoop they can.
You ever deliver flowers with the citation?
It's funny. I was like it always reminds me, we're talking about trying to think the movie, is it with Seth Rogen, is it Knocked Up, where he's constantly dressing up in different costumes, because he's, serving everybody. And no, we don't add flowers to it. That's for sure. We just,
Well, you might try that. It's kind of fun.
What if you don't have good service?
Right. So that's what the lawyer's going to worry about is, was it done in the right way?
We won't get repeat business.
Oh, no, I mean in a case, like in a $1 million judgment, if they try to attack it, what if there's not good service? What could happen?
If they didn't really get served, then they weren't invited into the lawsuit.
Right. So the whole thing
has to start over.
Right.
And if the statute of limitations is run, then that's going to be a real problem.
So
you got to make
pays
sure
to work with good people.
Yeah, make sure it's done right the first time.
Yeah, that's correct. No, time. We want to save you time. We don't want you to have to keep repeating. We know there's, statute of limitations, coming, deadlines. It's the forefront of our thought process every day. We want it done correctly, timely, make you guys happy.
Yeah, there's been a time when I was preparing for a contested hearing and I wanted to get documents. The opposing party was objecting to my discovery requests, and so I had told my staff, we need to get these documents from the source. Banks, financial institutions, medical providers, and in my mind, that was a rush job. But, by the time the words leave my mouth and then somebody hears it, well, then they have things to do to carry out my objectives, and then they contact our third parties, and then, it sits on somebody's desk over there.
Right.
And then by the time they start to fulfill the order, I'm already in the hearing with no documents.
Right.
So I'm
getting yelled at by a judge.
Yeah, that's the
when you should have called
case.
Marty in the first place, like I told you.
We'd be here. We'll be there for you.
That's the part I want to hear about more too, is the document retrieval. I don't quite have a grasp on that. What do you offer?
It's tricky, frankly, because you're getting the orders from the law firm and we're sending out. And then you're having to follow up with these medical providers, Northeast Baptist, Texas Med Clinic, I'm just rattling off names. But, and you've got to make sure the affidavit's completed. You got to make sure everything's finalized.
That's make or break.
sent.
I mean, that's win or lose in
gotta,
your case.
Make sure all the records are there that they say they are. Make sure page counts add up. So it's a lot of organization and uploading and keeping track of it. We've got to stay organized, no question.
Awesome. I'm going to tell another story after the break about the time when I was doing records review outside of the monkey cage. Stay tuned.
No jokes today.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Marty Dusek, Shannon Roberta San Antonio, and Lexi Law Dog is over here taking a nap on the floor. And we're talking about litigation support through U.S. Depositions and Litigation Services, Marty's company. We were talking about court reporters. We were talking about records retrieval. And I want to tell you a story about when I was not even licensed yet. I was just working as an intern for a law firm that was hired to sue this nonprofit for treating their end product badly. I don't want to give too much away, but my desk was outside because we had to go on location to this business. They had so many documents. It's like file cabinets all in this room, and then there were other file boxes like out in this barn. And so it was just my job to review all of these documents and look for the smoking gun.
Outside.
Yes, because the offices inside were very small, and that was reserved for actual attorneys who had descended upon this business
Right. Wow.
to find the records that would prove they were doing a bad job for their charity. And so my desk mate right across from me was a cage with actual monkeys. And so it was a kind of a cool work environment. I was at the zoo. I wasn't at the actual San Antonio Zoo. I have to give that disclaimer. This was something else.
Good disclaimer, yeah. If this happened today, you would have got, and you were a young person today. We are youngish. You would have got out your phone and you would have taken a selfie
right.
and you would have said, "This is my circus and these are my monkeys."
Yeah, even in
right?
Mm-hmm, Todd Zoo.
Even in 2006, that's about the time frame. I don't think I had a camera on my phone.
Yeah, I don't think so. Probably a flip phone.
Yeah, and we probably wouldn't have been able to do that. But my point, Marty, is that we had all these records, and I'm just one person, and there may have been a couple of other interns helping me. What could U.S. Depositions and Litigation Support do in a scenario like that?
Yeah, so we would go through, we'd organize. First and foremost, made sure the page counts add up. If there's something missing, page is missing. And then you want to prove up those records. If you, so by proving them up, you do it by affidavit or DWQ, either or, deposition by written question. So on top of the records, after organizing them, bait stamping them, getting them ready and prepared, then we will put on top our cover page with a completed notarized affidavit. And that is your proven records, so you can,
introduce those as evidence
Correct.
In the trial.
Yes.
Yeah,
And the affidavit kind of certifies everything, right? So we know this is done correctly. We know they were handled properly. We know that everything was filled out and completed and packaged up.
that's probably one thing people don't know about trial before they're actually in it, is that everything has to be done according to the rules of civil procedure and evidence. And so the packaging of the records, that matters.
Right.
Absolutely.
Those I'm sorry.
No, please, Shannon, go ahead.
Those law shows make it very dramatic, like the attorney came up with some brilliant argument on that day, because it's not very glamorous to look at everything that went on behind the scenes. It's a lot of paperwork and planning and preparation. Sitting
at a desk.
Right.
Or a big table with documents all over it.
In a movie, it'll cover that in 5 seconds,
or they cut suits and they'll cut straight to the end of the deposition and,
right.
scene, right? And there's so much work involved to get to that step. And there's so many documents and records involved to get there and to prep you and to have ready and to prove up.
I'm glad you brought that up because in a deposition, you want to ask, the opponent party about certain documents. And so you need to be organized so that you could pull it out and say, did you sign this? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got to communicate and that's, again, a huge plus with our team is that they're amazing and they're overly communicative. So these paralegals know what's going on the whole time. You're never in the dark. You always are aware if everything should be on time, but if there's records or something is delayed, you know about it. And then that gives them time to prepare. For some reason, deadlines are coming up or they need to get an extension. They know how to operate their side because we are giving them the clear picture.
Tell us about a case study where you were jumping in to help somebody, an attorney that was in distress.
Okay. So we had earlier in 2024, there was a deposition scheduled in small town South Texas, very small, and the notice that was sent to us it was Zoom instructions. So that means that we need to get the court reporter and videographer scheduled, but then we're providing the Zoom and we're kind of the host, and there's just that's how we're attacking this plan, right? Mm-hmm. This project for this deposition, scheduled for a Friday at 10 a.m. Friday morning at 8:15, the paralegal with this law firm called me and said, this is in person. Well, this small town's about 270 miles away from San Antonio. So, and we have an hour and 45 minutes to figure this out. And we did. We called, our court reporter, got someone that happened to be maybe in Houston at the time, was able to redirect, get to the small town on time, 15 minutes early, and completed the deposition.
Wow.
And I think that speaks volumes to just a lot about who we are, right? We saw a weird problem. We didn't get rattled. No one panicked. Calmly executed a new plan, and it worked out perfectly. Time was everything. Got it done. We're reliable.
This is Marty Dusek with U.S. Depositions and Litigation Services. You can find him at usdepot.com.
usdepot.com. Marty, M-A-R-T-Y, at usdepot.com would be my email, and website's usdepot.com.
Okay, my next question is about video depositions.
Okay.
That's sort of like the new thing these days. I mean, back in the olden days, they didn't have video cameras. It was all audio recordings, right, and written transcripts, but nowadays, people like to use video. Almost everyone I go to is a video. Have you seen of or heard of any crazy video depositions where you're like, well, that guy definitely doesn't look good on video. He's making a big scene.
No, nothing offhand. We do so much. I mean, nothing offhand comes to mind as far as a crazy video, but that's why I encourage it, just like I would encourage a court reporter to be there. Always a court reporter, I would always encourage video. I think when that light and spotlight turns on, things get a little serious. And I think that's a good thing to make sure the deposition is, you're getting what you want out. But no, I have not heard of any horror stories like that.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're
because
there.
It's supposed to be like, the same as trial. You're under oath. You're supposed to tell the truth. And so I would agree with that when they know they're being recorded, they can't act like, a bum.
Yeah, no, the spotlight's on, no question.
Right.
But yeah, so I again always encourage video and always encourage the court reporter. I think both are a necessity to have a really well done deposition and one that you can refer back to. And again, you not only have the transcript to revert back to, but you have a video. And then you go to court and you show that video if you needed to, but you have it.
Right. You ever see anything like that, Shannon? You ever do a video deposition?
No, I haven't done depositions for a while, and when I did them, video wasn't really a common thing. Just a regular deposition.
Yeah.
What I remember from depositions is that there's only certain questions you can ask. or there's not the whole range of objections you can make, like in a courtroom.
Or you can make an objection, but you still have to answer the question.
Right. There's slightly different rules, which is probably not a rabbit hole we want to go down today.
Yeah.
So please forgive me for mentioning it.
Yeah, no, that's good. Some data that we frequently come across now that we need to get and we need companies to help us get would be like cell phone data, social media data, computer data. Do you have methods to get that, Marty?
Yes, absolutely. We do a lot of cell phone records. In fact, normally, those are just like a medical or billing record. It would just be a cell phone record we get from AT&T, and then on social media, that's a big deal these days. And that's kind of part of the skip tracing program that we do, that we can kind of scrub your social media and find the good or the bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a case in San Antonio where somebody's going through another trial for murder. He was tried once, and I guess there was a mistrial because the prosecution did not give certain evidence to the defense team. So he's being tried again. But what made me remember this case is that the evidence that they had against him to suggest that he killed his wife was the cell phone tracking data, and then his work truck also had GPS. So have you gotten data like that before?
I don't recall a vehicle tracking, but cell phone without a doubt. 911 audio. We've gotten some EMS audio, but yeah, all these things are definitely accessible, and done the right way, will help your case, no question. And we're here to do that for you.
Awesome. Helping lawyers win cases. That's another good tagline for you.
Todd, I might take that. That's pretty good.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back. We'll be talking about legacy with Marty.
Do New Year's resolutions scare you, upset you, make your eyes roll? We've all known someone who's tried and failed to keep their resolutions. But what if your resolution could bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones? Resolve to get your affairs in order. Last will, living trust, tax-protected inheritance plan, a gift to your loved ones, and a lasting legacy. Call Marquardt Law Firm today at 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Or visit marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Marty Dusek with U.S. Depositions and Litigation Services, and Shannon Roberta San Antonio. Find her on Instagram, and you can be encouraged by seeing her outfit of the day or
get a recipe idea. Maybe you're out of ideas.
That would be fun. And Lexi Law Dog is here. And we're going to be talking about legacy in just a moment. Not yet. I got to say something else. Marty's going to say his legacy. I'm going to talk about Michael Jordan's son.
Oh, man.
I'm also going to be talking about the Mama Bear, Virginia Hollis McCaskey.
Yeah.
But this is the fourth segment. That's our legacy segment. I want to talk about legacy just as a broad term. This is the collective memories of everything that you've done. And you were telling me your uncle's in the legacy business succession business.
Yeah, he sure is. Yeah, it was funny. He sent me a message a couple of days ago and said, "Tell Todd hello."
Yeah.
How do you know Todd? And he goes, "Oh, and I guess y'all had met about a year ago or so."
Yeah, Jim Urban with the
Urban Associates.
Urban Associates. He's a financial planner and does business succession. But when I heard this story about Michael Jordan's son, have you all heard it yet?
Yeah.
He was pulled. Well, actually, he got his car, his Lamborghini SUV, stuck on the train tracks.
Yeah.
And then the police caught up with him and suggested that he might be under the influence. And then they found some narcotics in his pocket. So he's in big trouble. And it just got me thinking, what's wrong with this kid? I mean, why couldn't he use his position in society, I guess you would say, the son of Michael Jordan, why couldn't he continue his father's legacy? I mean, not necessarily just as a basketball player, but as somebody that doesn't get in trouble with the law, at least, right?
How old is he?
Well, he did play basketball for a college, so I think
so
that
10 years ago, maybe
he's over that.
So is he over 30? I mean, I guess at some point though, do you keep having to say you're Michael Jordan's son or Michael Jordan's my dad? And at some point, don't you want to
be your own person?
Be your own person, or walk a really fine line and be a good person, not have to resort to referring to everyone as, or telling everyone Michael Jordan's my dad because I'm in trouble. I need to get bailed out here.
Right.
At least.
Shannon, have you ever heard of this where you have a very upstanding member of society and then something happens, the next generation just doesn't have their stuff together?
Yeah, that's kind of a common story. You hear about that. Let's remember that it's an accusation. I mean, he hasn't been convicted.
Right.
So we do have, beyond the burden of reasonable doubt in this country.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I did see that news story. And allegedly I saw it, there's video, and he was kind of belligerent, I think is the story.
Oh, right, resisting arrest.
And
that
then
was another charge.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, it's really sad. I mean, I guess you don't know. You haven't been in his shoes, so you don't know what it's like to be Michael Jordan's son. Maybe it's horrible. We shouldn't presume just because he has a lot of money that...
Just because he's driving a Lamborghini SUV.
I mean, he might...
Right.
I mean...
That might be really difficult.
Well, it's interesting, Shannon.
You want to find out?
I think you're right, though. He's in the limelight because of who his dad is.
Yeah.
And he's going to draw attention, and sometimes that comes with negative impacts. And so, I hope he gets better, I guess.
Right.
Happy people don't do that. Happy, peaceful people are not doing stuff like that.
Well, let's talk about football.
Okay.
The Super Bowl is this weekend, and just so happened that, God forbid, tragedy struck, and Virginia Hollis McCaskey passed away, and she was the daughter of a very influential football owner, the owner of the Chicago Bears. The Bears.
The Bears. I love the way you say Chicago. Is it because you've been in South Texas?
I guess it's because of Adam Tostado.
Oh, yes. That was a good one. Watch that show. It was a good one.
So she inherited the team from her father, George S. Hollis, who died in 1983. And then since 2011, Virginia's son, George, has been chairman of the Bears. And so this is a contrast to what I saw with Michael Jordan's son.
Oh, okay.
Is, we didn't hear any bad news about these people. They were able to pass down the business, and, they didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but, it's still an ongoing business.
Right, yeah. And then I was looking at her bio. There were only like 10 female, in all of our history, there's only been 10 female owners before.
She must have been a tough lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that too. Like, really amazing. When she was born, it had only been 3 years that women even had the vote. Mm-hmm. So when she was, it was 1920, and then she was born in 23, I think. So she was 3 years old. Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
So, our country said women can't even vote. We can't trust our democracy because you're a female. And then she ended up being an all of her accomplishments,
right.
In her lifetime, she watched women's rights go from, we can't trust you with a vote, to you're an icon of society.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay, Marty. So with that background, between Michael Jordan's son and Virginia McCaskey, tell us what you think about your legacy.
I want people to know that the legacy of working hard, kindness, positivity, wanting to help others. I think that's something, we kind of touched a little bit on it. I love the business and I love what we're doing. I love what we're building. I've gotten really involved in philanthropy in the last couple of years, and I really, trying to help other people, I think is just it's very important. And I think everyone should take a little bit of time of their day, every day or once a week, to help somebody doing something. Small gestures, big gestures, whatever it is.
How did you come up with that? Was it your parents or some other older person that told you it was important to give back to society?
No, I don't recall where it came from, other than just something I've always felt. I think it's hard to be out there by yourself. Mm-hmm. Building this business, and a lot of times, it's lonely, and I don't know. There's something about just helping other people out there that, by themselves, or they're alone, or they need help, or there's outlets they don't know about. And so that's just kind of where it came from.
Yeah. Well, Shannon said that she was helped one time just by a friendly clerk at the courthouse, right?
Right. Yeah, I think it can be very small. Like, we underestimate how just a small kindness could be life-changing for someone. But in reading your bio, Marty, it's not small things. I mean, because it's very time-consuming and it takes a lot of effort. Just one of those things that I was reading on your bio, you're a board member on a pretty major nonprofit. And I mean, just that alone. So when I look at your bio, I'm like, wow, this guy's very busy. And then you were talking about the coaching. You even do coaching for the next generation,
Yeah, coaching first grade basketball. Yeah. That's actually been the highlight of my year so far.
Yes.
Look, it's important work, and frankly, I'm honored to be a part of these organizations. And I consider myself lucky to be able to coach my son's basketball. So all this stuff, you make time for things that are important, and it's easy. It really is.
Right. Someone I know said recently, you can't pour from an empty cup. And you're definitely pouring into this world. What do you do to
fill up your cup?
Yeah. How do you balance it all? And
how do you maintain a positive and encouraging attitude?
Yeah. Well, it just comes out. You seem like such a positive, energetic person.
Every day is a new day, right? Every day is a new day. I'm lucky. I've got 2 beautiful children, a wonderful wife at home. I get to go spend my evenings with them. That's joy. And it's happy, and the rest of all the stuff that happened during the day, the good and the bad, goes away. You're at home, you're with your family, and you're relaxing, and you're recharging, and again, tomorrow's a new day. And so I think that's uplifting. Just the fact that you can essentially restart every day.
Yeah. Tell us about something or some value that you got from those who went before you.
I brought these cufflinks today.
Cool. Let us see. What is it? Okay.
They're kind of old. I mean, they're my grandfather. So Jim Urban, my uncle we were spoken earlier, this is actually his father. He passed away. And so my grandfather gave me these cufflinks, and I don't wear them very often. When I found them this morning in kind of a box I had stored, but I don't wear them often. It's just it's more about what they represent. And, but it's nice to have, and was honored to wear them today. I was excited.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Do you think he'd be proud of you?
Absolutely. I think today is actually my uncle's birthday too. So I think it's, pretty cool that, get to kind of touch on them,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in 2025. So
right.
It's very special. Yeah. And I know he'd be happy.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that in. That's neat.
No, I mean, I didn't know what, trying to rattle my head out. What would be a good idea in this, cufflinks? This is an easy answer.
Right. Well, a lot of people, they don't have anything, or they think that it's not worth talking about, but I agree with you. Like even something small that reminds you of somebody you loved, that's meaningful.
Yeah, I was going to bring a story, frankly. I didn't know what, when you originally asked, and I didn't have a lot of heirlooms or anything. Right?
Well, tell us a story.
The cufflinks, but no.
Any family values that you have carried on?
We have a tradition on this show of telling a really bad joke, at least one. No, I'm just joking.
I just being, I always instilled of just being kind to everybody. It's a big deal. I feel like my family, especially, Everyone's very kind to people. They're very well liked.
I have this book. Its title is Be Kind or Else. And I don't think many people have this book. I got it at Half Price Books in the clearance section, which means nobody reads it. But there's a foreword by Larry King that says, be kind or I'll make sure that your life ceases to exist.
Huh.
Can you imagine Larry King?
No, I can't. Why was he
so I don't know if it's a joke. The book is a real book about being kind to others,
Right.
but
It's got that quote
I just
in it.
can't get that out of my mind.
Right. I'm picturing that Liam Neeson guy coming to get you. You know, I've heard you've been unkind.
Right. Well, thank you guys for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This
It
is
was really fun.
really special. I really enjoyed it.
Why don't you say one more time?
Yeah, look, Marty Dusek, we're here to help you. Record retrieval, process serving, depositions, court reporting. We do summarizations of records and transcripts. We want to be your A to Z, file to trial, one-stop shop. Please call us.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Shannon. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
Yeah.